Hey everybody, just wanted to do a quick review about the changes that were just made with the last patch. If you didn't know, a few heroes were buffed. Like the only really notable ones, notable changes to all the buffs, I think, were Sion's skill change, which this has an implication for guild rage. Instead of a 5 straight, it's now a 5 global range, so in any direction. So she can alternate 1 and 5. Now, if she's in a position where she will be able to use her second, she won't be able to be used for a Lee swap, but she is fairly strong, and she still has all her nice stuff. She got a nice buff just in general. Let me just make sure. I just want to see if they changed her base attack again. No, it doesn't look like they changed her stats again. But she's become a little bit more practical, like basically a third Lee for Sunday um, is what we were kind of looking at now. It's not. I don't think she's going to be as strong as Lee. I just don't think that that's possible. Um, but she does still have like her regular things. Her skills, I believe, did get a little bit of a percent buff. Also, the basic skill got buffed up to 160%. I think it was down at 130 something before. So it's kind of nice alternation. So expect, especially Sunday, to have a nice change for her. The other big change was Sira. Now, Sira had some she's not. Like, I should probably just go ahead and say she's still not going to be like a tier 1 hero, but she did get some notable changes. Now, the first thing is before Sira's, if you're looking at her defense right now, her defense got a huge buff. I believe it's up at the 2300s now or something like that. 2500. So Sira's defense pre patch was only about 1100 something. It was much lower. Like her dodge was higher. It's one of the things that was really kind of holding her back as being just a playable hero in general, because it was difficult to build her. Like she was basically melee version of Jenny. Only I believe Jenny's was stronger if Sierra wasn't attacking a branded target. But she was basically the melee version of Jenny, and of course the attack type not being good with against Slime King, of course, um, which was really bad for her because she couldn't, like she can only take advantage of her dodge abilities, which they're hit and miss, literally at best. So it's not like there's some kind of guaranteed benefit. Like there's really no guaranteed benefit with a 3,000 dodge on a kill or whatever it is. Um, but she needs to be able to get kills to make those things happen in the first place. And she's not always able to do that on turn 1. But what we have now is she's got a very significant defense buff to kind of make her more practical. They also raised her HP base from 23k to 26k, so almost 3,000. It was almost 3,000. I think it was 23.5 or something like that before. But just statistically, she got a nice buff. Her attack went up, I think, 1,300. I think it was around 9,200 before. Now it's 10.5. So that's kind of nice. Also, nice little attack. Nothing compared to what the Slime King set implies for attack type heroes and their overwhelming practicality in terms of actually being attack type in this game. But it was still a nice thing to, another 1,300 attack. I'm sure nobody would argue that. Everybody would take that. So she's a little bit better. They did change her third skill to have a higher percent thing. So if you have, like, my soul gear is max and I'm using the blood soul gear, so it has the 240.5% total. So that puts her up in the same range as around Angela. Um, and the defense ignore is a branded thing only, so I don't like including branded things only. It's not going to be applicable all the time. I think the skill also got changed. Yeah, so let me just check my soul gear for a second. I think her regular soul gear has been changed, so that stun chance can be up to 100% now. Let me just go double check. Oh no, my wings just aren't maxed yet. How did I miss that? Yes, so that would be a 90% with that one. With my I got to get on top of that. I can't believe I don't have these maxed. What was the other one? Oh, no. These soul gears, I believe, also had a slight change. Yeah, this was changed to the HP recovery thing on kill, I believe. Oh, and I'm increasing attack and dodge when you're like, so these soul gears are okay. Like, they're obviously the powers in the blood soul gears still, but they were obviously the event. They were behind the wall, so it would be weird if the regular soul gears were superior to them. But Sira, she's still like her guild raid for Saturday. Turn one guild raid is still going to be remarkably powerful, with the blood soul gears especially. But these buffs just make things insane. I could probably hit 800,000 damage ticks with her now. So I can't wait to Saturday to try it out. But those were the only changes that really stood out to me as being kind of decent. The real thing I really want to talk about today is the soul gears for the Blaze Blue heroes. So I'm going to come right out here and say it. Rachel and Jin definitely are tier 1 heroes. I really don't think that the soul gears, though they were powerful, like Regna got really good soul gear. I got them all, so with the one thing. Yeah, nice HP recovery. Yeah, that's good if you're always able to, take take out your enemies. And this is like just his flat damage. The effect skill range is really obviously very OP. Like, I believe it is his third skill, right? Yeah, so it's like a Muzaka like thing for his third skill. So that is really good. If you're wondering why I have 12,000 genes, it's because it's really good experience to time. Not experience to energy, but experience to time. It's really good to farm as 5. But it's basically a Muzaka third now, and it's very powerful. It's almost exactly the same, arguably, like 202, 14,000. So keep that at 202, and then make that 21,000 in the skill range 1. Let's go take a look at Muzaka, because they're trying to make like the thing is Jin and Regna are they're like Muzaka cut in half. So here's the thing. I think Muzaka's still a lot stronger though. I think Muzaka's just stronger than Regna. So I really think that the flat damage is a very small deal. It's not a big deal at all. It's just not. And the higher percent, I believe, would translate to more than the 13,000 or the I think the 17,000 or whatever in his case. So it looks like they took, like, oh, Muzaka's really overpowered. Let's give this guy one part of Muzaka. And let's give this guy the other part of Muzaka. That's really overpowered. And what they did with Jin, which makes him so completely broken, is his soul gear at level 10 increases the area effect range on his passive. Now, why that's crazy good is his passive is a global sorry, not a global, it's an untargeting effect. So like Muzaka's skill, or like the bosses in Guild Raid, like their passives, it's not a targeted skill, so it can't be countered. It just works every time by itself, and nothing changes. It's like, boom, this happens. It's basically a free attack. The percent modifier seems low, but like you gotta keep in mind, this is basically like saying this other skill has 100% more. So like, the whole 2 attack mechanic is it's crazy good. It's crazy strong. I think all my PGs are going to be going towards Jin in the near future. His passive, his third, and then his second, and eventually his first. I'm probably going to max out. Can't wait for that Todd reset, because all these PGs are going straight to this guy. He is going to be a monster in Battle of Honor, especially on square map. Like, there's going to be maps where, like, bridge map, he's probably not going to be all that great. on the ice map, again, probably not all that great. But on the square map, he's going to ruin slot 2. It's almost gonna. I'm kind of predicting that he's almost gonna force people to be slot 4 Valkyrie, because slot 4 Bells are just gonna get eaten alive by Jhin. Like, he's just gonna ruin them, which I think is phenomenal. I think that's one of the biggest things that the game needs right now. Also, like, when you're controlling against a defending Bell, say you get down to Jhin versus Bell, and you're like 6 tiles away, so you can't get your passive off. You can just walk up to Bell, let Bell get one swing off at you, so you can have a stronger 2-turn attack on her. Hit her with her passive, then hit her with the HP reduction. Hope she doesn't kill you with the counter or whatever. But like, Jin's a balance hero. Like, you can build them with the golden build of items. You know, basically the Angel Knight, like a Pathfinder if you're going for a DPS, but still want a lot of tankiness. Beast Rain, Dasso, and let's just say for 1 star we'll give them like the Knight of Dawn or the Born Assassin or something like that. He's going to be very powerful. Now, bringing in more rock heroes is somewhat problematic for Krut, because there's a lot of really good heroes to choose from right now. Like, I'd say that Krut and Muzaka, up until these changes, were the only tier 1 rock heroes. Occasionally, Momo is really OP. Like on this week's BOH, but only because Momo has the planes advantage. Momo didn't have the planes advantage, he'd be nothing special. Jhin has the ice advantage, which is not... Like, I really think that he's going to be most OP on the square map, so I just don't see how he's going to be that great in terms of being able to use his terrain. So I just don't see it happening. But he is going to be an absolute monster on the square map for sure. Now, Rachel is the other one that really stood out to me. Now, the only reason Null didn't, Null, on paper, it looks like Null has the best, in, like, straight up raw damage soul gears. Like, I don't have her recorded yet because she's the one I'm neglecting to last. But she is very strong. She's just a really... She kind of seems like just a better version of Rage to me. And that's just really all it is. She's like a... This skill makes me think that she's like a Rage Chenny. But I just don't know quite yet if she's going to be insane. She does, I believe, have higher turn 1 burst than Krut. But Krut is just way stronger. Like, after Krut's turn 1, if he doesn't kill, he gets his damage reduction buff. So it's... I don't know, to me it's apples and oranges. Straight DPS maybe, but turn 1 Krut has way higher survivability, and turn 2 Krut is way stronger than still any other character in the game with a 32% attack and 20% crit damage for his even number turns. But let's look at Rachel, because Rachel has the best soul gears, in my opinion. I think that she's... like, right from the beginning, I think most people were calling it that Rachel's the, she's the golden egg here in this batch of heroes, and I've definitely been in agreement with that since day one. She's basically a Klein, a way stronger Klein. Now, Klein is still better in some things, but I think that he's really going to get pushed out by this. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because this skill comes with a mana drain, and it burns up to 250 mana. Like, this hero will ruin people's lives. Like, there's going to be... It's just going to be too easy to use her. Like, I'm thinking of maybe a slot 1 on square would probably be the best against people running the Deimos composition. Just drain Deimos' mana and he can't do anything about it. He just turns into a pylon. We'll see if there's other ways that people can take advantage of this to fight against Deimos. On bridge, Deimos is still going to be good, but Deimos might just drop right out of play in the very near future. They did mention that they are working on probably a nerf they were very vague. They said a lot of people have been complaining about Deimos and that they are looking at it, but it's very, very strong implications of a nerf coming up for Deimos in the very near future. So that's probably what's going to happen. But Rachel, until then, can just deal with him by taking away all of his mana. Deimos' mana regen is really terrible. It's completely terrible. And she's an area attack type hero. This skill is actually very strong. Sorry, let me just, what's the max percent gain? It's 12.5%. Now, right now, I think that's 190% total, which is huge for an AoE type attack hero. It doesn't display here. For whatever reason, it's just not displaying here. Like other heroes, when you upgrade their soul gears, it actually says what the difference in the skill is. But for some reason, Rachel is not being counted. I don't know if it's just all the Blaze heroes, their soul gears aren't showing up in the tooltips here, but yeah, what did I say? It was 12, so it's like 190, 191%. She also does the attack decrease. And this isn't, like, this number is very high. Like, that's a huge amount of attack. If it takes off of a base attack, what I really have the question about with this skill, because usually the flat value reductions they're really bad. Like, they are just generally really bad. I believe I mentioned that in my last video. But I haven't done any testing with Rachel, and I'm really wondering if this is going to be kind of like a situation back when we had Kai ignoring percent values. If this is like one of the theories that people had, that instead of ignoring the percent values, is some people argued that what he did was he took away flat defense and then their percent potential is applied to whatever's left over. If this is taking away flat attack, that's a pretty huge amount of attack to just drop down. Before, if it just takes it right off the top, it's probably not going to be such a big deal. More so the mana drain is going to be the really debilitating thing about this hero. It's basically like Disarm, because it's really about tempo gain. And somebody using a basic, like if you drain all Deimos' MP and you can only use a basic attack, you're in pretty damn good shape. It just is what it is. Now her wings is also another nice one. It increases her attack percent. HP recovery, whoop-de-doo. Like, she is fairly tanky. Let's go take a look at her base stats for a second. But she does have high HP and defense. Yeah, so 2,500 defense and 27,000 HP. So, like, she is fairly tanky. Her movement being at 3, you can ignore that because her passive takes care of that for a turn 1 situation. Gives the 2 movement. So she's like, you're really, like, some heroes are really good long term. Some heroes have very huge advantages in turn order, and this is kind of like a reverse Crut, where her attack is applied all the time. It's an HP percent thing. So 70% or more HP, her attack is up. It's really nice that she has the HP recovery, because she might drop down to, if she drops down to 55%, this will put her back over the 70, so she'll get the effect of her attack buff. But her attack buff is constant. It's not part of the revolving turns. The revolving turns is just the movement and the HP recovery. But because she's going to have that extra movement, the 2 movement, it's like a turn 1 Serendi kind of thing. Now, it's really going to stink for her if she's not built super well, but there's definitely going to be great ways to build her. If you're using her purely as utility, people are probably going to go more tankiness built on it. Like, not every, like, I'm probably going to build her straight DPS, and it's just going to be a nice thing that she had. Like, I'm going to throw the client set on her and things like that. I think that's a very natural thing for me to do. Now, I'm sure other people are going to want to use her to completely debilitate higher ranking teams, and just walk right in on maybe a slot 3 square, for example, walk right into the middle and take away everybody's mana. That could be a great way to use her, if you can avoid her being pulled by Deimos, if you're going to be running her in a slot 3. Like, I really think a slot 1 is probably going to be the thing for her. Like, you're not going to have to worry about mana because you're going to have the client set. Also, if you look at her skill cost, like 146 MP for this skill, like that's like it's low. You could basically cast this forever. What's her mana pool like? 314 at 4-star. That's crazy. 311 base. So that's without the costumes. I think her soul gear gave her another 24. Yeah, 32 MP with her soul. Yeah, no, she's gonna have 0 mana issues at all. But she's gonna be very, very strong. Now, I'm gonna go look at Regna again in a minute. I just want to talk a little bit about why he's just not going to be all that great, which is unfortunate because he's cool. I really think that he's style points matter, which is why I like both Jin. I like all the Blaze Blue heroes. I just don't think that they were. Like I said in my other video, we really have to see the soul gears before we make the decisions, and here they are, and here I'm making them, and they're all good heroes. I just like Null is a really, really, really good hero. Like, she's stronger than a good 90% of the heroes that we have currently. Easily way stronger. But the thing is, the sets that we have available are just really, and like in terms of just the raw numbers, like that's great, but some things are just better than the raw numbers too. Like, there's certain things that really just make Null seem like if she was good, then Rage would have been good after the buffs too. Like, and come on, what's with this poison terrain? Like, Rage has some issues. He needs to get sorted. But Rage I think is one of the coolest heroes in the game. It's just thug life. But he's just not he's just not good in this game. It's hard for me to describe exactly like my feelings towards Rage, because he's got some good stuff about him, and some of it's just like, why did they do this? Why did they have this condition? Why don't they just make him stronger or whatever? Like, Rage is a great. He's been one of my favorite heroes since the beginning of the game, because style is better than ability. But unfortunately, I'm a sucker for maximizing, and he's just not that amazing. But Rage is practically Null. They're very, very similar. I think that Null is stronger with her soul gear, I believe, but Rage has a pretty awesome soul gear too. It's just that she's getting the benefit, I think, of two different things. Where Rage is just getting like a really healthy buff to his third skill, I think, and then the other one's affecting his passive, and it's really not that great. This is like a 20% thing, yeah, 19.8% jump, which is nice. And this is his crit damage, attack percent per kill. So every time he kills somebody, he gets the 1 turn benefit on his passive. So 21%. Nice. Not really that crazy. Like, this is a strong passive. But unless there's a scissor enemy that's not Bell, because let's be honest here, Bell and Deimos are the only consistently used scissor heroes for the most part nowadays, or Banshee. Like, the scissor heroes that you see in Battle of Honor are like insanely tanky. Just like, I find it hard to believe that Rage is going to go around one-shotting them all day and all night. It's just not something that I can see as reality ever happening. Like, the best chance he has at one-shotting one of them is Deimos, and I do think most people are going to have the Slime King on. The only reason I say Deimos is because he's probably going to forego his 4th slot tanky item for a Ghost Step set, and the dodge and the movement. So, but Bell, there's no way that anybody's going to be building a Bell without a Slime King set, or without as much insane tankiness as possible. Everybody's making their Bell as strong defensively as possible, so I just don't really think it's as practical. Like, this is an awesome effect. Like I don't want to make it sound like it's not. Um, but he's still not that good. He's just not that good. Like this dodge thing is kind of cool. If it's like if Rage is the hero that you have alive at like turn 5, turn 6, and you can do this and you can get some dodges off, that'd be kind of cool. So long as you're not against Bell. But you know, he's got some problems. Anyway, I think Null and Rage are very similar. It's just Null's skills look more like Chenny's skills. The pillar range, they're just not really that great. I do really like her, just statistical, like her stats. Really nice build. Very, very nice, strong offensive. I love passives that give guaranteed perks all the time. I don't understand why it has this hitbox. Why does it have this hitbox? It'd be kind of cool if this increased other heroes' attacks so long as they were close. Anyway. Maybe she hits people too. I don't know. I haven't recruited her, so we'll see later. But I just don't think that she's going to be that great. Let's see. Let's go back over to Regna, and then we'll wrap this up. Alright, so Regna. Regna might be coming into play in the near future. Now, he is an attack type, but he definitely has that badass appeal to him. I don't think he's that great. I just don't think. We'll take a look at his base stats first. So, basically, tankier version of Null, because obviously he's melee. He's got the 4 movement. That's kind of a crappy thing, because now we have Sira with 5, so he kind of very comparable to Sira now. A little bit more HP, but I think lower in the defense, a little bit higher in attack, lower in the movement though, lower in the crit rate also, and his dodge is, you know, most heroes' dodge is not good, so he's whatever. But stat-wise, like I think he is fairly well balanced. The problem I have is that his skills are absolutely terrible. All of his skills are a single range attack. All of them. They are all single range attack. This skill has a chance to push somebody away, and it's not even a consistent thing. It's like, so using him on defense, occasionally he might punch the hero away. Occasionally. I think that's a silly skill. Now, I really like his 3rd. That's really cool. With the Soul Gear effect, having it with the extra 1 range, that's really, really cool. But I just don't see how he's going to be actually harming anybody. Like, he's just not that strong. Like, a hero hitting a white area is obviously strong, but scissor heroes in terms of DPS, Lena and Lee are typically thought of more often. Lena because of her percent damage and also being really strong. With this skill, like, this is a 220% skill with the Soul Gear and the HP percent. And if you don't know how the HP percent damage works, this 16.5%, let's say you have 100,000 health to make it easy, those 16,500 damage guaranteed. Also, that 16,500 is affected by your percent damage modifier. So if you have 40% damage percent, it would add like times that 16,500 by 1.14. So you're getting 40% more to the percent damage there. So with the really huge increases in HP and stuff with Transcendence, this kind of scales with it nicely. So that's kind of a nice thing. So Lena's a pretty strong hero. And of course Lee. Lee's an attack type here. That's the only reason that he loses to Lena a lot of the time. But like in term, Lee's a good comparison because he's also an attack type, just like Regna. But Lee can hit from 5 range away, so he doesn't need his tankiness. Instead, he's been more invested in DPS. He's got this skill that gives him a huge crit damage buff. It's 5 range, so he can snipe people from out of counter range most of the time. He's got this awesome passive, really awesome passive that just needs to be activated by somebody casting any kind of skill. Like Bell could heal Lee, boom, he's got his passive turned on, so it's pretty nice. How long have I been over 50k attack? Sorry, this is news to me. I don't know what I did. I thought I was going to be over when I had my next. Sorry, mental sidetrack here. Where is it? Oh. Yeah, I should drop the crit rate and try to just get crit damage. Sorry, crazy sidetrack here. But Lee is stronger than Regna, in my opinion. So I just don't see how he's going to be. I just don't see how Regna's going to be good. It's really hard for me to picture a situation that Regna is really OP, where it's so horribly obvious with Jin and with Rachel. So maybe I'll be wrong, and somebody will come up with some amazing thing with Regna. But you know, again, he's more like Rage to me. He's going to have the style points, but he's just not going to be that amazing. All right, well that's going to be it for this video. Oh, maybe it's the set buffs. This got 12%. That's what it is. Nice. I'm over 50k attack now. Alright. And I think I will adjust these set changes in a different video. Like, you know what? Forget it. We'll just do it right now. It's really, really simple. The time for your shot set got a decent-ish buff for the 2%, so that's really nice. It's kind of nice because it beats out things, stupid things that shouldn't have been, like word I'm thinking of right now. It's not important. It's just good. Like the EC set having the highest percent attack buff for a 2-star item that was not the Dasimir. For 3-star, we got the best changes here. This now gives 1185 attack, so that's very nice, very slight but very nice buff for guild raid, especially if you're running 3 of them like me. And the strategy support system also got a nice buff, so now it gives 1080 attack, and you only need 2 pieces to activate that. So that's kind of a nice thing to have too. Oh, this is actually a very nice thing to have. I think this might be the best slot 3 item for Bell to have on Sunday. Right now, I think that you really need to have the 2-piece Tiger Claw with like a really pimped out +13 chest piece. But it might be that one, 'cause it does give 1000 defense and the HP recovery when she heals herself, so that'll give her more. When she heals herself, she will heal herself another 12% HP. So that's really strong, actually. I don't know why I didn't think about this sooner. But the extra attack for all your attacking heroes too is really nice. And then, like, if you're using the Green Ranger on Bell for her 2-star, it's Bow Ring, and this is also Bow Ring. So it's just kind of a nice thing. The only thing is, I think the helmet on that set is a shield, so the 1000 defense is kind of a trade-off. It's not really amazing like having some great, awesome, eventually I'll find it, Beast Drain. There we go. It's not awesome like having something like this on her. So, there's this 700 and this 1500, then sweet potentials and an SS chest piece. So if it's a shield, then I take back immediately. I just forget what it is. Of course, we got this great buff to the hitter set. Now, the main thing that you just need to know about this is that it's just like the Sunset Sheriff is still going to be better for people who are, if you're tapped out. Like I'm generally tapped out with most of the things that I can, like sets and whatever I can have to improve things on most maps. Obviously I don't have like 17 Angel Knights, so I can't really tap myself out for Friday quite yet. But the Forgotten Hitter set has a, like with the additional attack for attack type heroes. Wait, what? Additionally increases by 300 for attack. Oh, for some reason I thought the crit rate was increasing 300 attack in both this one and the other one. Just, yeah, reading. It's my second language. The attack increase is enough that it makes the, on a 1-to-1 basis, it does apparently make the hitter set stronger than the Sunset Sheriff. But the Sunset Sheriff gets stronger if I believe you have 3 1000 attack or more effects. So if you have Moss with his wings max, that's 1200 attack, so there's 1. If you have 2 sigils, that's 3, so boom, that's it. So the hitter's not as good as the Sunset Sheriff in the long term. Now you still obviously have the immediate effects, so your first 3 turns you're going to have crazy overkills and but way better or initial output for the first 3 turns, but it'll hitter off afterwards. Then if you want to get really crazy about it, like if I know there's times where I have, well, for example, my Friday. If on Friday I have, you know what, let's not use Friday because I'm going to be using a different formation now. So let's go with Monday. So on Monday we have both Scissor Sigils, and then I have 2 of the commander sets for 50 turns, and then I have 3 commander sets active for about 15 turns. So initially I have the 3 commander sets active. So 3 of those, 2 sigils, and Moss. So the Sunset Sheriff gets way, way higher gains from that than the Forgotten Hitter is going to. So it's like that's like kind of an extreme case right there. But like there's going to be times where the hitter's a little better depending on how many aura buffs you have, and there's going to be times where the Sunset Sheriff is better. But what it really does is it kind of makes them on a semi-even playing field where it's not that much of a difference. So if you're going to run a day with like Wednesday with Lee and Moss, well, the hitter is just about as good as the Sunset Sheriff. So, well, I'll put the Sunset Sheriff on Moss, and then I'll put the hitter on Lee because it's a very small loss for Lee, but it's a huge gain for Moss on that day. So maybe what you need to get into the 32 to 33 million range would be a change like this if you have both the hitter and the Sunset Sheriff set. But I would say you use the one that has the better potentials. So if you got potentials like this on one, then you say, okay, that one's the better one, so I go with that. And for 5-star, we obviously had the change to the Magic Marksman, which is still up for debate if it's even better or not. So, 45,000 attack. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see if it is better at all. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. Why is my crit rate so low? Well, oh, that's why. I think I'm going to be changing those back to crit rate potentials, and I'm going to drop this set for this set, which just got a nice buff. Oh yeah, this got a decent-ish buff. It's really nice for Deimos because he's going to get a little bit of extra defense too, so it's not that much of a loss compared to a Slime King. Now keep in mind the Slime King does have a brooch, so it's not a 400 difference. It's still like a 500 or 600 defense difference plus potentials. Because this is necklace chest piece, not a really good necklace shield. Sorry, so it's not a really good comparison. But it is a nice little change. And this set got a nice buff. So it's HP 6%, attack 8%. Those are like, the set's still not amazing. It's not mind blowing, but it's a great set. Like these are good numbers. And what I really like about the Magic Marksman buff is that it it comes with so much damn crit rate. Just like I don't even have the crit rate potential on this. Who needs it, right? It comes with so much damn crit rate that you really just do not need. You do not need to have like a Born Assassin or Knight of Dawn as a necessary part of your build. You just don't need it. It's just not important. So you can drop something like that and then gain the extra 8% attack. Because somehow I think that the 215 and 240 attack aren't going to be as high as the 8% modifier. I called me crazy on that one. But yeah, we had some nice changes. We had some kind of crappy changes, but that are just going to get people's hopes up and then not really be important at all. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Gonna end this here. I want to do a lot of playing around, a lot of farming, get some stuff kind of maxed out. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that.